Looks like we're gonna press some statements, huh?
Hold it!
Yesterday morning. Can you tell us about when you were abducted in a little more detail? It was a strange morning. I felt like I was right in the middle of a great calm. And where were you? When you experienced this calm? Our family garden, of course. Where else could it have been? Well, excuse me for asking. This child is more princess than prince. I was out taking a walk to shake off the morning blah. Then out of the blue, someone from behind clamps a hand over my mouth. You didn't see your attacker. They must have used some drug to knock me out. Because before I knew it, I was in La La Land again. And when I woke up, I was in the kidnapper's hideout already all tied up.
Hold it!
Blindfolded? By that room, you mean the room in the kidnapper's hideout, correct? Yes, but I was blindfolded by the whole time, so I didn't know that until I made my escape. Then were you in the same room as your kidnappers? They spoke in hushed tones, but I could catch bits of their conversation. It was definitely two people, and one of them was definitely a woman. I was so scared I could even tell they were nearby, so I decided to run. But the kidnapper suddenly just... Okay.
Hold it!
The kidnappers disappeared. The room fell into a sudden silence. I had been left behind like an unwanted mutt. And what do you mean by unwanted mutt? What a pointless question. It's not like he's going to tell you anything new, you know? It's a poetic simile. You should learn how to use them too. You may look refined on the outside, but it's no good if you're not refined on the inside as well. Why did they give him Riz air?
Hold it!
Then those cuffs on your wrists, I suppose you are still cuffed in that case. I am well aware of how I am chained to the reality. I couldn't find the key, so I'm afraid I'm stuck like this. Even though I escaped from that jail cell, I will forever be a prisoner.
Hold it!
How did you manage to escape? I wanted to just get out of there, but the door leading to the outside was locked, which is why I had to use the underground passageway to make my escape. I remember our escape to be equally as hard, but this is an invaluable piece of testimony. I mustn't let it go unexamined.
Hold it!
By the underground passageway, you mean the one that staff uses to travel unnoticed. I suppose that's what it's for, but I didn't run away into any staff members on my way out. And once I was up top, I was busy trying to find a member of the police. And that is when you found us congregated at the stadium, I suppose. Let me ask you then, how did you get a hold of the key to the underground door? That was easy. It was just hanging right there in the room on the wall. I do recall a key hanging on the wall right beside the table. Boy, does that bring back memories of our situation, how we made our escape. Indeed, and although the door in the floor of our room led to an underground room, the door in the floor of the room the next door had a secret passageway. A secret passageway under a theme park? Ooh, that just sounds like so much fun. I wonder if there's something off about the way Lance made his escape. I think I know what. I think the door wasn't locked tight. It was barred tight, no? Yeah, I think it was barred tight, no? I'm right about that.
Objection!
There we go. You say that the door leading to the out was locked, but it wasn't really. Oh, he has an angry face. We're talking about that room behind the saloon front, right? Look, I heard that it took quite a few men to get that thing open, right, Shinna? Yes, that's correct. Then take a look at this. What is that, a sword? It's not an especially reliable one if it's broken like that. Allow me to start from the end. My conclusion is that the door was never locked to begin with. It was simply held shut by this sword, which was used to jam the handle. Gah. Lance, even though your hands are cuffed together, you still could use them. If that's the case, why didn't you just not simply remove the sword and escape? Why didn't I? I was disoriented. Yes, that's it, I didn't even notice it. As if I should accept such a bold-faced lie. You locked yourself in that room because you had no choice but to make yourself look like the victim. But you did not, in fact, possess the key to the door. That is why you used the prop sword to improvise and create a prison of your very own. You've been making this guy out to be one of the kidnappers for some time now. I wonder if you've forgotten something very important along the way. And what would that be? A motive, what else? Do you honestly think that an upright boy, pure boy like him, would hatch up a completely pointless scheme to such as the kidnapping himself?
Objection!
This proves that Lance did indeed have a motive to commit this crime. I think it has something to do with... I think it's the love letter, no?
Take that!
To put it simply, Lance has a very urgent need for money. This is hardly for your typical love letter, but is in fact a collections bill. It appears that our upstanding boy has accumulated quite a debt. Isn't that right, Lance? Looks like it's hard being the son of a rich man, too. It must be rough when you have to resort to stealing from your old man, right?
Alright, I give up. I abducted myself.
Lance!
It's over, Lolly. In this life, we were really bound to our fates after all. All I wanted was to really go with you to a new town. Somewhere where no one would know us. I wanted us to be well off with that $1 million. But now that dream is over.
No! Look at the devastation in her face. Oh, Lance! Then you are giving yourself up.
Yes, I had planned to run away from this world with my Lolly. Oliver even helped us with the plan, but then he had to go and stab us in the back.
He turned on you.
Maybe he didn't want to split the ransom money, but that's my...
There's another person. We still don't know.
Happened right almost after you made the drop-off.
When we got attacked.
When we were alone, he attacked me all of a sudden. And after a brief struggle, I was able to contain him and keep him under control. We left him inside that room as Lolly and I made our escape. We wore different costumes and split up. Lolly left first in a blue badger costume.
That would mean that Officer Meekins saw was Miss Pops.
Well, right then, the old man just had to wake up. I was careless and he tackled me pretty hard from behind. And then Oliver put on the bad badger costume and took the suitcase with the $1 million and ran. I contacted Lolly right away and warned her that he had a gun. They had no idea that they were related, so I thought that it could only end badly.
I still don't believe it. That person was not my father. Because if he was, I just killed my own father. Something is wrong here. There is something very wrong here.
Lolly, then was it you?
Something is definitely wrong. Something is seriously wrong. That man was not my father, I mean, because at the stadium, there was a bad badger pulling the suitcase with the $1 million in it. But that badger pointed his gun at me, aiming to shoot me dead. And that's why I used the gun I got from Lance. There was a gunshot, the other person crumpled to the ground, and I ran scared for my life. I think the big picture is finally coming into focus, don't you?
Lolly, forgive me. I didn't think it would turn into something so frightening. If only I could have protected you.
So, Miss Pops, she really shot her own dad without even knowing who he was? If that's what she says, it's true. Then are you saying she's lying? But why would she lie about something like that? What purpose would it serve? You would be surprised about how often people lie without realizing it themselves, Kay. Huh? What's that supposed to mean? What I mean is, listen very carefully to confession once more and you'll see. Okay?
Hold it!
Please calm down and let's slowly talk through this. But I... All you have to do is simply tell us what happened at the stadium. Leave it to us to search out the truth. Can you do that for me?
Alright. So at the stadium...
Hold it!
Bad Badger? That was the ransom money, wasn't it?
Yes, that's how I was able to identify Mr. Deacon almost immediately. It was all thanks to what Lance told me.
And what did he tell you?
Well, he called me on my cell phone and told me that Mr. Deacon had betrayed us and ran off with the ransom money. And about how he had a gun.
Hold it!
Were you able to clearly see the gun?
Yes, I got a very good look at it while it was pointing at me. Oh, father, why would you try to shoot me?
Do you really think a father would shoot his own daughter, Mr. Edgeworth? I don't know.
I don't want to believe it myself, but it's true my father's left arm was raised with a gun in left arm. It pointed straight at me. I'm about to die, I thought.
Miss Pops, please calm down and take a deep breath. I think we figure out the flaw. And then, will you allow me to please hear that last statement one more time?
Yes, of course. Pointed the gun in his left hand at me and aimed to shoot me dead.
Hold it!
And you felt that your life was in danger, correct?
Yes, I'm about to die, I thought. So.
Hold it!
And you shot Mr. Deacon?
Miss Pops. Yes, I shot him.
Huh. And that, as they say, is that. Agent Lang, Miss Pops is far from done. She hasn't even finished her testimony yet. You're going to continue questioning her. What a waste of time. Miss Pops, if you please.
Alright.
I think we figure out the flaw.
Hold it!
Did you take off immediately after following the gunshot?
Yes.
And you didn't attempt to approach the victim at all after he was shot?
I was scared. I don't blame you. I would have done the exact same thing. Poor Miss Pops. What will become of her, Mr. Edgeworth?
She seems to be telling the truth regarding what happened at the stadium. However, I don't believe it to be absolutely correct. Listen very carefully to her confession once more and you'll see. Left hand, you say? Left hand, you say? Because it's from the right hand. Oh, what?
What about it?
Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, sir, I don't think you pulled out the right piece of evidence. Heh, wonderfully subordinate there, so willing to point out his boss's mistakes. Gah. Detective Gumshoe, you will refrain from excessive talking. I'll try, sir.
I'm pretty sure it has to be this, no? No? Do I have to bring this out? If I have to bring this out. Oh my god, it must be this. But it could. But this was on the. This is already on the right. Okay, fine then. I'll present it. Yes, if this is not correct, then I don't know what else.
Objection!
Oh my god, I'm flied. Unless you had that stuff of jabber of yours in your mouth. God. It's a cravat. It's a fashion statement, not a gag.
Okay. Oh my god. Alright, if it's not these two things, if it's not this or this, what am I gonna find? Oh wait! This says right here! Wait, what the fuck? This says it right here! His dominant hand is right!
Objection!
Wow, it's this one. I thought the other two count. No way. I have a dossier here on your father. And according to this, your father was right-handed.
Then.
The person pointing a gun at you was atop the stage was not Mr. Deacon. Hold on there, Mr. Prosecutor. I think you need to take a refresher course. The Bad Badger has a monogun attached to his right hand, which is why the hand he could have held the gun was his left. Isn't it possible that it went down like that? Agent Lang, weren't you paying attention to what Miss Pops was saying? Then again, I suppose I can expect someone who has never set foot in court to catch it. Enough with the smugness. Out with it already. Miss Pops told us earlier.
There was a Bad Badger pulling the suitcase with the 1 million in it.
According to you, the Bad Badger had the gun in his left hand, which would mean that he was pulling the suitcase with his right hand. Is that correct, Miss Pops?
Yes, exactly. And I'm sure it was the Bad Badger. It had those huge sunglasses on its face.
And if that's the case, even I can see there's a huge contradiction. Yes, Miss Pops have claimed to seeing the Bad Badger, and yet the Bad Badger had both of his hands full. These two pieces of evidence can contradict each other, so one must be wrong.
It wasn't the Bad Badger. Both hands were not occupied. Both are correct.
Holding the gun in his right hand as he pulls the suitcase with the same hand. Isn't it possible for the right-handed person to do both things simultaneously? Your deduction is full of one too many conjectures, don't you think, Mr. Prosecutor? Gawk! Well, it is pretty difficult, if not impossible.
Seen the Bad Badger. I think both are correct. Okay, I am making some easy mistakes, am I?
They are both correct. Impossible. That just leaves us with an irresolvable contradiction. Miss Pop's entire statement rests on the fact that she saw his sunglasses and beard. But what if that Bad Badger wasn't wearing pants on his lower half? The fuck? Proves that there wasn't a way for the Bad Badger to freely use both of his hands.
Is it the fucking Badger's head?
Take that!
The costumes have two parts to them, the head and the body.
Oh, I get it now.
The head Miss Pops was really neat. Okay, what the fuck? Was really the head of the Bad Badger. However, isn't it not impossible that the body of that was an entirely different badger? A different badger? Yes, or to put it more bluntly, I believe it was the lower half of this badger.
Is it the Blue Badger? The Blue Badger, no?
Take that!
His head may be the Bad Badger, but his body was the Blue Badger. The Blue Badger. Hold on, let's see here. Who was it that had these on?
I did.
And so did Officer Meekins, pal. Nice try, but your logic is still tad illogical. Officer Meekins had been placed under arrest after all. Wait a second. I'm being stupid. I'd like to strike what I said from the record and give my explanation anew.
Is it really the Proto Badger? There's no way, right? Oh my god, is it really the Proto Badger? I'm just thinking things correctly.
Nani? The heck is it?
It's the Proto Badger.
Yes, and it's simply a matter of process of elimination. Miss Pops was wearing the Blue Badger's costume, so we can eliminate that one. And with the Pink Badger is up the wrong color, which have been incredibly obvious. All that is left is the Proto Badger costume.
Oh, because you can freely move your arms.
Miss Pops was the one who wore the Proto Badger costume.
That would be Lance.
Gah! Huh?
Not so fast!
Are you seeing what I think you are? That Lance Amana donned the Bad Badger's head and pretended to be Mr. Deacon. On top of which, he plotted to shoot Miss Pops while he was wearing a hideous sting. The stage was set up in the stadium was nothing more than a setup. And its purpose was to lead Miss Pops into believing she had committed murder. Standing there in front of Miss Pops and pretending to be the victim. It was all done so that she would pull the trigger. I have no idea what you're talking about. This is a plan? By him? Holy shit.
And how exactly would I have to do all that, huh?
There's but one reason. Lance Amano, you are the real culprit behind the murder of Mr. Oliver Deacon.
Nani?
No.
That's slander. Take it back. You take it back right now.
It's out of curiosity, Lance. Which is your dominant hand?
I'm left-handed. But what does that have to do with anything?
You fucking idiot. You should just said right-handed. It depends. According to Mrs. Popsander, her attacker held the gun in his left hand. Who is what-handed doesn't prove a thing. And besides, now you're just being absurd. And it's not like the Proto-Badger's bulletproof. One misfire and he would have been found himself dead, right?
Objection!
Object? Of course, logically, he had been shot, he probably would have been here with us. However, but I believe he had thought of that as well and prepared accordingly. And this should be all the evidence you need. It's how Lance made sure that he wouldn't be hit by a bullet. There's no way, right? My god. Is it the model gun? He wouldn't be sure. Oh my god, it's the model gun.
Take that!
We found one half of the Bad Badger costume in the hideout, a broken one. It was not the same one that the victim was wearing, plus it was missing something. And that something is the model gun that the Bad Badger carries, which can fire blanks. Nani? Miss Pops, where is the gun you use now?
I threw it away into the sea.
That makes it a bit tough to verify what it was. Although I believe that we can safely assume that it was the model gun in question. I've heard enough. All you've been spouting for so far is pure conjecture. I admit, as long as the model gun is lost to us, I can't prove that I'm right. However, I can say that the probability that I am right is very high. Okay, let's pretend that you're right and that the murder at the stadium was a fabrication. In that case, where do you think the murder really took place, Mr. Prosecutor? I don't know just yet. Huh, I knew you were full of it. However, I do believe that the murder took place during an earlier time frame.
Wait, please wait a second. It's just simply not possible. Because, I saw Mr. Deacon after he was restrained by Lance.
She saw the victim in a state of being restrained? Another testimony by Miss Pops.
I came back to the hideout long after the other two. And by that time, Lance had already subdued and restrained Mr. Deacon. He had tied Mr. Deacon securely to the beam in the room next door. After that, the two of us put on our costume and made our escape.
Huh? So Mr. Deacon must have escaped after the two of you left, right?
We thought that if we attract too much attention if we left together, so I left first. We planned to meet up at the stage in the stadium. But then as I was walking through the park, I got a call from Lance on my cell phone. Oliver must manage to escape. It looks like he was waiting until I was alone. And he also stole a gun from me at the time.
And then the murder happened. Mr. Deacon must have overheard their plan to meet up at the stage. Well, Mr. Prosecutor, Miss Pops saw the victim with her own eyes, which means that the victim was still alive at that time, wouldn't you agree? Why does that sound very wrong to me? There must be something amiss about this account. And I'm gonna figure out what happens when I examine it in more detail.
Damn, this is a long-ass multiple testimonies.
Hold it!
When exactly did you arrive back at the hideout?
It was after we had picked up the ransom money.
And where were you up until the time you returned?
I was scouting the park and making preparations for our escape. I walked around in various areas looking for the best route.
Ah, so each of them had their own roles to play.
And after I was done, I went back to the hideout.
Hold it!
You restrained him? How did Lance look at the time?
Well, he looked shocked. He also looked a little down when he saw that sadness in his eyes.
Thank you. That's enough for now. And what of Mr. Deacon? What was his situation like?
Hold it!
You are sure it was Mr. Deacon that you saw?
Yes, I am very certain of what I saw.
Did you go into the other room to check?
Lance said it was his best if I didn't get too close to him. Lance, he's such a kind soul.
Then are you telling me that you did not confirm it was Mr. Deacon for yourself?
I checked through the slit in the room that connects the two rooms. He had a Bad Badger's head on, so I'm absolutely sure that just had to be Mr. Deacon.
So she saw a Bad Badger head.
I think that's a flaw.
Hold it!
So the tied up Mr. Deacon was still in his Bad Badger costume?
Yes, and?
It would appear that she misread the whole situation. What now? Should I raise an objection? Perhaps I should listen to more what she has to say first.
Hold it!
I assume that the two of you split up, but plan to rendezvous later at a set time and place?
Well, we had planned to meet up at the stage when then we left the hideout not too long after.
And what about the ransom money?
You mean that absolutely tasteless suitcase? Lance was supposed to bring that with him.
But Oliver stole it from me along with the gun when he escaped.
Mr. Deacon was alive at the hideout. Then the murder must have happened after that. Meaning it probably all went down at the stage. I mean, I can't really see why Miss Potts would lie at a time like this, you know?
Okay, I don't think she's lying, but rather she is making a bad assumption.
She is?
Yes, and I tend to show what that bad assumption is.
I'm gonna save the... We are dying of HP, by the way.
And we need to restore it ASAP, quickly.
I think it's definitely this one.
Hold it!
How was it Mr. Deacon?
I object. The person you saw was not the victim.
Nani? Why not?
I will tell you why not with this. This Pop shows that the person you saw was not the victim.
He said he had a Bad Badger's head on. Is it the there's no way it's the Badger's head. The victim's costume?
Take that!
Fuck. I'm not sure what you mean by that.
It would seem that I made a mistake.
And I'm loading again. God damn it, game. Damn, this is getting a little bit harder now because of the pressing. And I'm running out of HP too, so I don't want to lose all my HP.
Hold it!
The Blue Badger, Lauren Pops, Pro Badger, Lantamana, Bad Badger, Oliver Deacon. Is what we assumed.
Take that!
Oh, the Bad Badger's head we saw.
Miss Potts, the person you saw was not Mr. Deacon at all.
Huh?
The person you actually saw was this person.
You gotta be kidding me. It's Lance.
The person you actually saw tied up to the beam was none other than Lance.
But Lance was the one who showed me the tied up person in the next room.
You're claiming that the boy somehow showed himself tied to the beam. Are you serious? Or perhaps you believe there was a ripoff in the space-time...
Actually, never mind, I'm just being stupid. You know what? I'm gonna reload everything here because, Jesus Christ, I don't want to lose that much HP. Okay. I know we gotta do dialogue over again, but like, Jesus Christ. Because we were in the isolated room this whole time.
Miles Edgeworth? Me? It was me. Huh? The person I saw was you, Mr. Edgeworth? Because we were there. I always thought it was a bit odd. Why would the kidnappers abduct me even after I handed over the ransom? It's not as though I saw the face of the kidnappers. If I were them, I would have just taken the mill and ran. But in the end, there was a point to it all. It was all to make me look like Mr. Deacon. And if that was the reason for which I was abducted, then I believe that we can assume that the victim was already dead at that time. Right, Lance, or am I right? That's... You show Miss Pops a person, namely me, with a blue Bad Badger's head on. So you set that up, just to make it sure it was Mr. Deacon, and then you made your costume escape together. Or so you pretended. Huh? What do you mean, he pretended? Exactly that. I believe that Lance watched you escape, and then doubled back to the hideout. Probably to come and remove the Bad Badger head from my unconscious self. And to create his fake prison with the prop sword. He then escaped via the passageway. Hold your tongue, boy. Don't get caught off with a tidal wave of words coming from the prosecutor's mouth. Tidal wave? We've heard a lot come out of you, but I've yet to see a shred of evidence. The victim's betrayal and the subsequent detainment. All that could have been happening while you were out cold.
That's right, you were out for quite a while, Mr. Prosecutor.
Even if that were the case, Miss Pops would have still seen me tied to that beam. I was scared of Mr. Deacon, so I didn't go into the next room. So really, I have no idea if you're there or not, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, it would seem that you can't prove a thing. Gah! That is true. He wouldn't even know if it's someone else or not. Hold. Who said that? Hold it.
Please wait.
Mr. Amano.
Oh, my boy, looks like you are really giving it your all. And Lance, it's not good to cause trouble for others. Dad? Let's say you're the one in charge of the investigation, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sorry that my son has been nothing but trouble. This probably won't make up for anything if I have some evidence for you.
Evidence? Oh, do you now? Another costume? Is that what I think it is? It's the Bad Badger costume the victim was wearing, and a gun.
I just couldn't wait around for the police, so I went around and found these myself. It appears that they were disposed of in the sea.
Is there no one in this country who actually obeys the law?
There. Now, Agent Lang, please calm down.
What the heck is that scrap of paper?
This appears to be a letter from the Chief of Police. Please allow Mr. Amano complete freedom to do as he sees fit, it says.
What? Nani? The Chief of Police? What the? Just who do you think he is?
The person who wields the highest authority in this area.
Oh, there. Now,
What's going on here?
there's no need to be so upset.
Heh, I'm not a cop from this land, so I'm not bound by the laws of your country.
No. This wasn't meant to be strong-armed as you were intending. It was just a request. I'm only asking you to please respect the laws of the land.
I can't really say no to that. However, returning to the topic at hand, it doesn't matter who found the evidence, its value remains unchanged. Alright, now let's take a look at this new evidence.
I already got the results back. I had a special forensics team research lab on that good terms that I'm conducted to us. They verified that the blood on this costume belonged to Oliver. As for the gun, the only fingerprints they could find were yours, Lauren.
Nani? Wait, what? The fingerprints of the gun were yours?
You disappoint me, Miles. I can't believe that you would cause my son such stress and heartache. Thank goodness I was able to find the pieces of evidence. With this, I have no reason to push my boy around.
That's it? These are the case-making pieces of evidence? I'll be the judge of that. I won't. Okay. Dang it. What's this? Looks like something inside the costume's head. Hey, that's Sparkle. I bet they're really valuable. Sorry, but they're just pieces of a mirror. But why are they... Wait, the mirror broke there. Huh? Why were they there in the first place? Something is wrong here. Could this be the gun, this gun be the actual murder weapon? We gotta check something else too. I think we gotta check the evidence we have and examine it more thoroughly. Can we examine it? They found Miss Pop's fingerprints on this gun. Can you let me hold it for a second? I shouldn't if you don't know how to handle it. Besides, Miss Pop's prints are already on it. Look, I'm wearing gloves. It'll be okay. I just want to take a look, that's all. It's not like I'm gonna run off with it. The only things I don't return are treasures. Stealing either one would land you in jail, you know. The gun, though. I feel like there's something else, no? Fuck. Fucking A. Has the gun been used at all? That's the question. I can't tell. I really can't tell. Can I not look at the gun at all? I feel like I'm checking something wrong. Alright, hold up a second, guys. I'm checking something wrong, am I? Let me save real quick. Okay, and I think the last evidence is definitely here. That bullet hole right here. But why? This bullet hole. It looks like it's kind of burnt around the edges, no? Wait, those burnt marks were left by the gunpowder. This is a most important fact. Why is that? Because it is proof that the victim was shot at point-blank range. Point-blank range? Oh.
Well, are these not the most definitive piece of evidence you've ever seen? Oh, thank you, Dad. There should be enough to convince even Mr. Edgeworth over there.
Alright. This decisive evidence. Oh, music.
Make no mistake, there are fingerprints on that murderous gun. And they proved that it was Lolly who killed Oliver. But Oliver was also after Lolly's life. So Mr. Edgeworth, even if you must see that Lolly was only acting in self-defense.
The fingerprints on the weapon, huh?
Oh no, this isn't helpful at all. Look, Mr. Edgeworth, all I want to do is save Lolly. But in the end, all I can do is just watch on as she takes the punishment for her crimes.
That may be all you can do, however. I still have a case to solve, and a job to do. The job of unraveling your insidious lie.
You wound me. Why won't you believe me? Even in the face of all this evidence.
Because it's not just evidence. This is decisive evidence.
Hold it!
Those fingerprints. Are you sure they belong to Miss Pops?
There's no mistake about it. Through my connections, I had the best forensics technique money can buy perform.
I find that to be a bit peculiar. Nani? Are you trying to pick an argument with me? What should I do? Should I raise an objection? No, not yet. Perhaps I should wait and see how this pans out first. And they proved me what Lolly was killed. Oh, yes.
Hold it!
Just can't establish that fact. You sure are calm for someone who is accusing his own girlfriend of murder.
You have it all wrong. Allowing her to pay the price is the form of love. She says that she wants to also pay back her debt due to society, but...
Hold it!
And why do you believe that the victim was set on taking Miss Pop's life?
I suppose it's because he wanted to silence her. To keep her quiet. Because she knows the truth behind the kidnapping.
In that case, why did he not target you as well?
That's because he knew that if he killed me, he wouldn't be able to control my father.
Right you are! Even if it cost me millions, I would have had that killer found. I believe he didn't kill you for an entirely different reason. However, I digress.
Look, Morden, why didn't he kill me? I'm worried about what'll happen to Lolly.
Hold it!
Self-defense, huh? Justified self-defense? I suppose that is a possibility given the circumstances.
Really? Oh, thank goodness.
However, self-defense was not necessary in this case.
What do you mean?
Miss Pops is innocent. She didn't do anything, so why would she need to defend herself from nothing?
You still don't believe a word I say, do you?
This entire argument hinges on the fact that her fingerprints are on the gun. However, the truth does not lie there. It lies in whatever he is hiding from me, and not for long. Her fingerprints, huh? I guess I'm gonna save just in case. But he believes there are fingerprints on the gun. I don't know why.
Hold it!
Yeah, we're gonna have to object to this. Frankly, I don't believe that Miss Pops' print should be on that gun to begin with. And the reason why Miss Pops' print should not be on the gun is... mirror fragments. I forgot about that. It's the missing model gun, no?
Take that!
With this piece of evidence, there's no reason for her to have left prints at all. Which piece is that? Look here, this is what I speak of. Your language is so hard to follow. You should provide a map. Ugh. Even if she did do it, there is something specific that makes it impossible to leave prints. I'm losing my voice, guys, for some reason. Let me load it. We're so close. I can feel it. I know what I'm right on this.
Hold it!
Alright. There's evidence. Huh. I think it has something to do... I'm trying to think right now. I think it has something to do... We're so close. I could sense it. I could sense it. Fuck. I think it's the stolen costume, no? It's because the fact that, you know, she was the Blue Badger, but yeah. No?
Take that!
There we go. It's simply not possible for Miss Pops to have left any prints on the murder weapon. Because while she was at the stadium, Miss Pops was already wearing the costume. Huh? There's no mistake, we found fingerprints! Well, Miss Pops, do you remember touching the gun at all at any time?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I did hold it for a bit back in the hideout. I handed it off to Mr. Deacon when he and Lance left for the haunted house.
To retrieve the ransom money, I suppose. And there you have it. That is when Miss Pops' prints found their way onto the gun. Do you understand now, Mr. Amano? The fingerprints do not prove that Miss Pops is the murderer. But you still don't have anything to prove that she isn't the killer, right? I mean, you don't have any proof that she is the killer, right? You seem to be very adamant about insisting your girlfriend is a cold-blooded killer.
Oh, Lance.
No way. No way. I'm incredibly worried about her. But that doesn't change the fact that you don't have any evidence, right? And that's where you're actually wrong. I actually have the evidence. What? Nani? How? The story that Miss Pops killed the victim at the stage in the stadium. The whole affair is simply not true. Because that was not the real crime scene, but a setup. This proves that the real murder was not committed at the stadium at all. It was not proved the murder was not committed at the stadium. Something to do with the glass? The glass mirror fragments.
Take that!
Oh, wrong one. This proves that a crime is in fact the same. Mr. Prosecutor, I have to relate that piece of logic a 0 out of 10. 0! It's at least a 6.8 out of 10. This way Lolly's gonna wind up getting arrested. Must remain calm and think clearly. If the murder did not happen at the stadium, then the scenario where the victim was on stage and Miss Pops was down below, there must be something that invalidates it. Is it the costume? Worn at the time of shooting, gunpowder burns proof that it was shot point blank. Ahead of time, okay.
Take that!
Let us take another good look at the costume the victim was wearing. Then I believe that you will see why I insist he was not shot at the stadium.
Take that!
This burn around the bullet hole was made when the victim was shot at point-blank range.
Ah, so you didn't believe that the murder Miss Oldbag saw the stadium really was?
Yes, she saw two people, but they were separated by a distance. And if the victim was indeed shot from below the stage, there shouldn't be any gunpowder burn. Oh! Look at you, Mr. Smarty Pants Prosecutor. Since you seem to know about all the answers, why not tell us where the real crime scene is then? Lance set me up to look like Mr. Deacon back at the hideout. If that's the case, then the murder must have happened prior to that. The location where Lance and the victim were just before I was in prison was... the mirror. Got it. I know the real scene of the murder. The haunted house? No? Or is it Wild Wild West?
Take that!
I think it's not unreasonable to assume the murder took place in the haunted house. The haunted house. Yes, and I have proof that is highly likely that the victim was killed there. Oops, it does seem the crime was the haunted house. The mirror fragments.
Take that!
These were inside the costume the victim was wearing. They're fragments of a mirror. A mirror? And what does that have to do with anything? Indeed. You don't have to expect to find things in a mirror inside a costume.
Yeah, that's actually pretty dangerous. You could get yourself cut.
However, there's one place I can think of where there's a plethora of mirror fragments. And that is the haunted house. Lansamon, I propose you killed Mr. Deacon with the revolver in the haunted house. And after that, you stole the Blue Badger mobile to move his body to the Wild Wild West area. And the timing of when the Blue Badger mobile was stolen confirms this as fact. Miles, my board, say no more. I'm sorry, Mr. Mono, but I cannot do that.
Not so fast!
Be quiet. Yes, please do something. Stop that boy from speaking any more nonsense. Ernest Amano, correct. I meant you. Now be quiet, Gramps. How dare you? I don't need words. And the only thing I require is evidence. Decisiveness. To call these mirror bits decisive is a bit too presumptuous, Mr. Prosecutor. What? Nani? But they were in the costume, no? Shina. Wasn't there a mirror in the kidnapper's hideout?
Yes, there was a mirror in there. A mirror that's for the haunted house.
You see, that isn't possible that the fragments got into the costume there. But Agent Lang, there were no fragments on the floor, so the possibility is very low.
Not so fast!
They could put in the costume. Probability? Langzy says, on Truth's path, the word probability does not exist. And the only thing does exist is definitive proof. The question, Mr. Prosecutor, is, do you have the definitive proof you need?
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you?
We don't. Do I have solid evidence that proves the murder took place at the haunted house? The answer is no. See? So since you don't have any, then shut the fuck up. I don't have the evidence yet, but I'm certain that the murder occurred around the time I turned the ransom over. And at that time, the only people at the haunted house besides myself were Lance and Mr. Deacon. If I can prove that the murder took place at the haunted house, then I can prove that Lance's guilt in connection to the murder.
What now, Mr. Edgeworth?
Agent Lang, I have a special request. Yeah? I'd like to prove to you that the scene of the crime was indeed the haunted house.
Why in the world are you asking the werewolf for that?
Because I don't really have a choice if I want to find the truth. Alright, permission granted, but you're not to touch a single thing, got it? That won't be a problem. All that's important to me is that the truth will be brought to light. It doesn't matter who or how it's done, as long as it is. Shina!
I'm here.
Put in the paperwork for the authorization immediately.
Understood. I'll go get the Gatewater Group's approval.
Hold it. Who was that?
No. Let's hold off for a second. There's no need for obtain approval.
Mr. Amano?
Agent Lang, if you please take a look at this.
What is it? Shina!
It's the deed to the haunted house.
Oh shit. The deed. Read it out loud.
Gatewater Land Incorporated hereby bequeaths the property known as the Haunted House to Mr. Amano for the lump sum of $1 million paid in full. So that's why they needed the million. Just so nobody can touch the crime scene.
What? Nani? As you can see, I am not a legal owner of the haunted house.
Are you kidding me? When did you...
I ran into the owner of the park earlier. They made the deal almost immediately. How quickly things move when you prepare $1 million in the blink of an eye.
That $1 million you paid. Don't tell me it was...
Oh, that's right. This disgusting suitcase belongs to you, doesn't it? I don't have any more use for it. So you may have it back now.
You used the ransom money?
My Lance is a good boy. He even apologized for the kidnapping a bit earlier. So I do believe I will forgive him. After all, he did return the ransom money. That's the way things are. If you are, please discuss things with me from now on.
Discuss? What is there to discuss?
Why, permission to enter the haunted house, of course.
Shit. The decisive evidence is in the haunted house. We can't do anything. While we were busy listening to Lance's story, Mr. Amano was out there preempting us.
Permission to search the haunted house is denied. End of discussion. Agent Lang, I want you to arrest that girl. And Miles, if you should hurry on home, my boy, before I really lose my temper.
Ah! Mr. Amano definitely has the deck stacked in his favor here. What should I do? If I leave it to the like this, the truth will be lost forever. Shit. No! Dang. This case is not over just yet. Because we need to get inside that haunted house, but we can't. Fuck! Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Miles Edgeworth. I'll see you guys all when we do the latter half of this case. Peace out, guys.